Hi everyone, I'm Stefan, and in today's video I have as a guest the head of marketing at the startup company Tapkey. Now before we start with the questions, I would like to tell you a little bit about the startup. According to their website, Tapkey is an access platform for property management, car sharing and unattended delivery. In simple terms, they developed a cloud-based software solution that allows anyone with access to open doors via their app. I think it's really cool what they developed, so if you want to learn more about the startup, then keep watching.
Originally, I'm from Salzburg and studied international business and marketing in Innsbruck, Austria, and London afterwards. Besides my studies, I already worked in the event industry. I've working for an agency, and after that, I also founded my own company. It was like a marketing agency where we consulted NGOs, but also other startups with the marketing strategy, but also events and doing a digital marketing stuff. So this was actually the beginning where I started to focus on digital marketing. This was for 6 years or something when I then decided to really go into a startup and worked for SendCloud. It's a tech startup from the Netherlands. Where I was responsible for setting up the marketing and also the team for the German and Austrian market. After that, I started to work for Tapkey. It's a software company from Austria, where I also was responsible for setting up the marketing strategy. For this was also a lot of marketing research to see what the competitors were doing, and then it was really also conducting all the measures and also building up a team, and yeah, this is what I've done so far. I would say it was a great experience to not just work for a company where the structures are more well set up and you really know how the processes are, but also working in a startup, because it's really interesting to join, especially an early stage startup where you can contribute and try to improve processes, building up teams. So at the end, I would say I prefer to participate or work for a startup because it was also similar to my own company. You learn really a lot from the scratch. You are involved not just especially when the team is small, you will not just do stuff related to your business. Maybe you also in the beginning you help out sales colleagues, or you set up some program software you're gonna use. So for me personally, but I guess it's the decision of every person whether it prefers more structures or really set it up. I would say I'm more the startup person. In this respect, I would say I prefer to work for a startup because it's really interesting to be part from the very beginning and also be able to shape the culture. So it's more, especially at an early stage startup, that you also build up your own team, and this is also where you get involved in how to motivate the team and also building up a specific culture. And especially in startups, I would say that this is something really special because it's also more a friendship or small family. When you work with your colleagues, you also spend times after work, you have team events, you just it's completely different with a normal company or a startup, and this I find very interesting to participate. I would say startups, it's in the nature of startups that they really take a service or a product and really try to disrupt or look for a new solution. So yeah, when you take for instance SendCloud, the tool, this is a shipping tool for online retailers where I worked for. It was created out of an individual need. So the founders were having their own online shop and really were struggling to manage all the different shipping providers and the shops. They were what I can remember selling their stuff not just in the web shop but also on Amazon. So the more complex the situation gets, the more interesting it gets for startup to find a new solution. So this is something I would say what is also interesting to be part of something trying to find a new solution for. In marketing, I would say we're in a safe harbor, because the good thing is that it's still a very creative process, and I can't imagine that robots or something will be really able to replace human beings in this field. But what you can see, like with artificial intelligence, it can also help when I take, for instance, Google Ads or Amazon ads. It's more and more that the program can also help you in optimizing campaigns or giving you suggestions. So at the end of the day, it's also making the work of a digital marketer easier. In daily life, I work with a lot of different programs. So where I see that a lot of potential is in programs like, for instance, Buffer. It's a platform where you can really like work on social media posts and select like the different platforms where you want to share the content on. So it really helps to make your daily work easier and also like save a lot of time. Tapkey is a technology startup, and we invented a software for mobile access in terms of that you can use a smartphone to open doors or cars, for instance. At Tapkey there are different income streams at the end, because we have, for instance, the in-app payment for the smartphone users. So 5 users are included in the package, but if you need like more, for instance, for a co-working space or a gym, you can buy like extra smartphone users and you pay for that. In the field of our integrators, it's more like a licensed business. So for instance, if there is a lock manufacturer who wants to use our technology to launch a new product line, he has to pay like, depending on the agreement, for instance, for every item that is being sold, a specific license fee. In regards to the business focus, we're specialized on B2B, but have like different target groups. So on the one side, we focus on lock manufacturers who want to use our technology and create their own product line. But on the other hand, we also attract like software providers who want to integrate our technology to add access as another feature. And adding to this, we also specialize in different industries. So what we figured out over the years is that the industry of shared workspaces is very interesting, and also car access or unattended delivery. I prefer to work for a startup or small company because I find it really interesting to participate from the very beginning and being able to also like form like the culture and build up teams. And yeah, I think it's a personal preference, but when it comes like to this part of risk, I think it really depends on the stage of the startup, because very early stages maybe don't have the fundings. So for me, when I applied, it was also always something that I was researching, that the company is really like funded properly. I applied for the position of head of marketing, and the application process was quite straightforward. I mean, back then when I applied, I was still like living and working in Munich. So the first 2 calls I had via Skype, one with the CEO and then with the CEO, and it was quite informal to get to know each other, but also they were interesting in my experience, what I was doing before, what kind of tools I was using, how I could imagine to improve like the marketing strategy. And the third session was really like in person, where I went to Vienna to meet the team, and it was to get to know each other better. And I also had like the opportunity to meet the team, what I found really nice, to have like a better insight where you would work from day to day. What I can remember, they required like a team lead experience, but it was definitely not the focus, or I can't imagine that it was the reason why they at the end decided to hire me. Well, I would say my expectations were met quite well. Like in the job posting was said, it was a lot of strategic work, because at the end it was like the first marketing or like solely a position that was like created for a marketing person. So at the beginning I was doing a lot of strategy stuff in cooperation with the sales and the founders. Because it wasn't really sure how we're gonna position the product. So we also did a lot of research, what the other competitors were doing, how they were like communicating their brands. So this was really at the beginning, and then we also started to have like a rebranding. We did like the website and also the shop where we offer the products of our partners. We redid it, so it was a lot of strategy thing, but then also like going into like execution, where I had like the help of a new content marketer I could hire, and also a second employee who was like focusing more on the design, on the website. So it was really at the end like what I expected. I had a lot of freedom, so I think this is also what I really like about startups, that they really ask for the people to come up with new ideas and involve into the process of finding new ways. And yeah, I mean, since I took like the position of a head of marketing, it was also part of my duty to come up with new ideas and also execute them. There were actually two things. Quite at the beginning we did a rebranding and also renewed like the website and the web shop. So before we were working like with two different shop systems, on the one side with WordPress and for the shop on Shopify. And it was really important for me to optimize this process by setting up the whole website on Shopify. So we, my colleague and me, we did like the rebranding, the whole concept for the new website, and then we were working together with the Shopify, an external Shopify agency. It was really a bigger project, a really nice project, and the outcome was just great. So we were all really happy. And there was like another project. It was last summer. We did like a new video of the company to really explain our services, how we work together with our partners. So we did like this nice movie with actors, with voice-over speakers. So this was also a really nice and creative process we did like with external service providers. At Tapkey we're really flexible, so we have like called in German Gleitzeit-Modell. So we have core hours, I think they're between 10 and 4 o'clock from Monday till Thursday, where you really have to work in the office, and the rest you're quite flexible. Obviously during the times of COVID, most of the employees work from home, but can also, if they feel or if there are like meetings or something, meet in the office. So we're really flexible when it comes to this. So hardware-wise, we use laptops. I mean, my colleagues, I work on Apple, I have a MacBook. But when it comes to software, we use a lot of ads tools. Since we focus on B2B, we use Google Ads and LinkedIn ads mostly. And to analyze how they are performing, we use obviously Google Analytics. When it comes to social media, we work on LinkedIn as well, and on Facebook and Xing. It's like the German version of LinkedIn. And what I mentioned before is like the tool Buffer, for instance. My colleague is responsible for social media, where she can really like time and create the content and push it or like post it on different platforms. Tapkey, it comes by nature because it's a really innovative software for mobile access. So it is a smartphone is like an essential part of our technology. But my deaf colleagues also use like really innovative technology like smartwatches, like other technology, to really see how we can work on our product to make it also compatible with other stuff. So we have two focus groups. On the one side, lock manufacturers who integrate our technology into the lock products, and on the other side, software providers. For instance, when you take a software like Cobot, it's like for co-working spaces where you can like manage your members, but also give access to like printers or to the Wi-Fi. They decided to integrate Tapkey in order to add access as an additional feature. So when they add like a new member, they can automatically also, depending on the pricing, give like access to specific rooms or whatever. The unique thing about Tapkey is that it's like an open platform, so we provide different SDKs like an open API and mobile SDK to integrate our technology into existing software on one side, but also lock SDK to integrate our technology into access hardware. I see Tapkey expanding continuously, because at the moment we focus mainly on Europe and Asia, but we're in the process of onboarding partners also in the US market. And I think there will be more and more partners join our platform and make it really bigger and compatible with each other. It's hard to generalize because I think it really depends on the personality. So if the person is really like motivated and really want to participate in building up a company, then would really recommend to start to work for a startup. On the other hand, if someone is more or feeling more comfortable with structures, with setup structures, then would definitely recommend to work or apply for a corporation. It really depends on the field where you want to work in. When, for instance, you apply for content marketing, you should really be into writing. It should be a pleasure for you. You should be happy like to research a lot and really create content then. And mostly it's connected also with social media in smaller startups. When on the other hand, you apply for a performance marketing position, you should really be able to work with tools like Google Ads, Facebook Ads. I mean, it always depends on the focus of the company, whether it's B2B or B2C, whether you should have like a general knowledge of these different tools and be really also data driven, because it doesn't make just sense that you are able to set up campaigns, but it's really important that you have like this analytic skill and also like evaluate like the performance of the different campaigns. At the moment I'm reading a book by Mochi. It's a spiritual teacher from Jamaica, and it's really interesting, showing you how to focus on your inner strength and not to get distracted too much from external factors.
Thank you for watching. For more details about the startup company Tapkey, please check out the link below. And if you have any questions or suggestions, please leave a comment. And as always, if you like this interview, don't forget to like and subscribe.